Sugar Hill Gang, Eighth Wonder. Yeah, old school at its best. Woo-ha! Gotcha all in check. Anyway, and no, Busta Rhymes was not the first to say that. Big Bank Hank, a part of Sugar Hill Gang and Eighth Wonder. Oh my gosh, back in the days, that record was cut way too often, but I loved every minute of it. Good morning, and happy Friday. I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, author, and educator, and it is Friday. We have made it through another week, guys, and hey, I've made it all 5 days. Yay! And hopefully you've rocked out with me. And so it's great to have you here. Appreciate you. And so with that said, I want you to like this and share this. Let's get that out of the way. Like this and share this. And I want you to tag, and it's Friday, so we're going to go with, no, one person. I know I've been 1, 2, 3, 4, but today just one person. One person. Because I don't know if everybody in your circles is connected to your faith. Because we're going to talk about, you're not going to go to church. But we're going to talk about the use, the active use of your faith. And how your faith has to become an action. Now, if you don't have a faith and you don't believe in any particular faith, or you are an atheist in all aspects of the word because you just believe in the energy that you present, that's okay too. Because we all got to believe in something, even if it's nothing. That is the belief in something. You just don't believe in what other people believe, and that's okay. My door is open for all. And the reason why is because I think too many of us project our faith. Too many of us project our position, and we demand that others think the same way that we do. No, that's not true. And that should not be the case. Everybody is entitled to think and feel their way as long as it does not physically, emotionally impact others. Now, that is very difficult, and that is the trick of being on this planet together, which is very hard because we have some who believe they are more dominant than others. But I'm not going to have that conversation today. So before I get into that, let me give a shout out to the sponsor. Shout out to Chef Danielle Moore, owner and operator of Ethel and Annie Mae's Soul Food Kitchen at 497 Albany Avenue, Brooklyn, in the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn. I will probably be in New York next week, so I'm going to make sure I stop by and do exactly what I said. I'm going to make sure I stop by, take some pictures, do some video. We're going to get all that in because I want to make sure that I rep for my girl because she's putting the work in. And let me tell you something why she's an aspiration for me. Not because she's supporting me. She was already supporting me long before she opened up a restaurant. She's purchased books and everything. It is because when you get to see the genesis of somebody, you get to see where they were, and you see the road that they took to get to another level, and the investment and the time and the energy and the tears that they had to put in to get themselves to that level. We have to get behind that. And I also believe that I can't expect people to support me if I'm not going to turn around and support them. So I support them first, and I let God take care of the rest. I know that may seem strange to some of you, but I support others and trust that God will bring me back what I need if I put the work in. I believe that. So that's why I support. So shout out to Ethel and Annie Mae's Soul Food Kitchen, 497 Albany Avenue in the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn. Where's my Queens folks? Where's my Brooklyn folks? Manhattan, Staten Island, and the Bronx. Make sure you stop by. Anybody in the tri-state area. Also, when you get there, tell Chef, ask Chef, not tell Chef. You tell Chef something, you may learn something that you don't want to learn. Ask Chef about her bench. And I'm planning to come up so I can take a picture of that bench. So I am going to make sure I see her next week because just the pictures that she's shown of the elders who have blessed that bench. And let me tell you something, I keep saying this about our elders, and we look past them, and I wish folks wouldn't. Our elders are filled with so much knowledge that it has nothing to do with school. It has everything to do with life. The older you get, the more you have taken in. And if you have not become bitter and you pour that back out, you will automatically make somebody's life better. There is no greater history book on this planet than an elderly person who still has it together, who is willing to share. I sat at the feet of my great grandmother when she was 91. She died when she was 98, 92 when I sat with her. And when I would sit at her feet, basically, and that just simply means I would sit there and shut my mouth and listen. And she would tell me what it was like when she was a child. Remember, she was born in 1892. So for her to just talk about the things that she's seen, the things that she experienced, one, it gave me a whole different look on racism. Two, it made me respect her age even more. It also taught me why the things that I need to do in terms of education and other stuff like that is super important when you hear what she was not allowed. Let me say that again, not allowed to do. So when the elders have blessed Danielle's bench by showing up, having a conversation with her, imparting their wisdom to her, it's not by accident. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't have an older person in your life that you can at least cling to, if it's not a family member or someone close, if they have it all together, sit at their feet, listen. Your life will change. All right, guys. So shout out to Ethel and Annie Mae's Soul Food Kitchen. Personal failure. How to deal with personal failure. How personal failure should activate your faith. Now, let me preface the table with this. We all have suffered personal failures. Every person on this planet. For some of us, our personal failures pushed us into a new direction, positive. For some of us, our personal failures have pushed us in another direction, negative. So I want to talk about what happens when you suffer that personal failure. How do you use it to propel you in one direction and not the other? That's where the activating of one's faith comes in. Now, I'm a man of faith. I happen to practice the Christian faith, but I hang out with brothers who practice the Muslim faith. I have a few friends who practice the Jewish faith. I have some friends who are Sikhs. I have some friends who are Buddhists. And I have some friends that could care less about sugar daddy in the sky, as one of my friends say. And then I have the spiritual folks who they'll say they don't believe in God, but they believe in spiritual energy. I got those friends too. And you may go, well, how you got all these different friends if they got all these different beliefs? Because I am a believer that you should be entitled to believe whatever you want. If you want to pray to a tree, are we going to eat when you're done? Okay. I'll pray to my God over here. You pray to your tree. And we're going to go hang out and bowl and do whatever. So for me, I'm speaking from my position. When I suffer personal failure, the reason why my faith is activated is because I have read and paid attention to the fact that failure has happened to some of those that are in the book that I read. Now, my particular book is the Bible. Okay, let me get my thing here. There we go. Is the Bible. Now, I don't care whether you believe the Bible is a real book or not. That's, again, on you. Doesn't bother me at all. And I don't debate it. That's something I don't do. To my Christian brothers and sisters, please stop trying to debate the Bible. Stop. I don't. So I don't debate the Bible. All right? And the reason why is because it works for me. Now, with that said, when I suffer a personal failure, the reason why I turn to the faith is because the stories within the Bible allow me to see people who are in very negative situations overcome those negative situations through their belief. Also, when you look at the miracles or the miraculous things that God has done, those stories give me energy and give me life to be able to push through. Now, I still got to do the work, and I still have to be able to put myself in a good spot. Now, for you guys who don't believe what I believe, your personal failures are great dividing rods to be able to speak to you on what did you do wrong or what could you do better. So if it's an internal thing for you, And that internal thing is yourself. If you don't have that position of faith like I do, then ask yourself, what can I learn from why I failed? And then how do I use that to propel myself forward? Some people, unfortunately, let the situation, the gravity of the failure, knock them backwards, and they keep rolling. And that's a very slippery slope. And at the bottom of that slope is depression. Some of us, when we fail, because we don't have anything to grasp on, nothing to be able to hold on to, nothing to be able to speak to our failure, and we can't speak to ourselves, we start tumbling backwards, and all of a sudden we're in a state of depression where nothing matters. So what I do as a counselor is to get you to understand, and this is why I'm using myself as an example. I get you to understand that the failure happened. It happened. It is a real thing. But the remnants of the emotion doesn't have to keep happening. Yes, you were hurt. Yes, you are hurt. But you don't have to remain hurt. So I use my faith because if you look at the way it is written, if you look at the way scripture is written, it doesn't dilute your pain. It actually addresses it and says, okay, but that was designed to happen. Now get up and get to moving, because as you move, you will see that there's other things for you. So there's no reason to stay there in that position. And again, it comes down to belief as well. For me, when I fail, I hurt. I'm human. But the reason why my faith is activated at that point is because I know that there's a greater good that can be done or may even come from this right here that I'm dealing with. I believe that. And that pushes me back into the race. And yeah, like many of you, I take a couple of days to get myself together, but then I got to limp back into this because I know that there's a greater good that can be done if I get back in this. If I start all over. I never said it was easy. I may speak easy, but I never said it's easy. But if you spiral the other way and give up, it can be very easy that you slide into that position of depression, because after a while you stop caring. If you guys understand what I'm talking about, put a 1 in the chat room. Put a 1 in the chat room if you have suffered personal failure and found yourself slipping backwards, and all of a sudden you were in a worse position than where you were when you first had the failure. Put a 1 in the chat room if you understand what I'm talking about, because I've been there. And let me tell you why that happens, right? It happens because we're allowing the pain to continue to hurt us. Like the failure, okay, let's put a failure on the table. You go to buy a car. You think you did all the things you're supposed to do, and you buy a lemon, and you're screwed out of your money. And you're kicking yourself because you didn't maybe do all the research or whatever it is, but you trusted somebody and they burned you. Now you have this car that's no good and you're out of your money. And you're emotional. You should be. It's okay. But it happened, let's say on a Monday. So by Thursday, you're still hurting. So where you're not doing other things in your life because you're still thinking about Monday. Well, that pain from Monday has traveled with you to Thursday, and you're still allowing it to beat on you. And now it's pushing you further backwards. So all of a sudden, other things will stop mattering, and you'll stop caring about other things because that pain is now starting to resonate. Well, here's what happens with that pain. It starts to grow because other areas are starting to fail. And it all starts to seem like it's connected. And so all of a sudden you go, this is why I can't win. And all of a sudden now you start going back into your past, bringing failures from there to the table. And all of a sudden now we're in a position where nothing matters. Put a 1 in the chat room if you understand what I'm talking about. Put a 1 in the chat room if you've been there. And the greater the failure, the harder it is sometimes to deal with. Now, how does faith play a role in this, Keith? I'll tell you. When you actually read your holy book, whatever your book is for you. For me, it's the Bible. I get to see that other people were in very difficult situations. I'll give you one. Joseph, who was in jail. Joseph was in jail because his brothers did not like his talents. They got jealous and envious of his talents and the fact that his father loved him because of those talents, that they faked his death, sold him into slavery. His brothers now sold him into slavery in a foreign country. Now imagine that. Rock with me. I need you to visualize this. In the foreign country, the viceroy, the king, and his wife he's working for, the wife says, "We gonna have sex." No, I'm not. No, I'm not doing that. I'm a righteous dude. I'm not doing that. And she's like, "If you don't have sex with me, I'm going to say you raped me." Sound familiar? We're not going to call no names, Karen. Anyway, so he's like, "No, I'm not doing that." "Oh, you are going to do it, or I'm going to say you raped me." He refused and runs out. She grabs a piece of his clothing, then lies and says, "He tried to rape me. Here's his clothing." Well, he's not killed, but he's put in jail. So now you are in a foreign country, in a foreign country's jail, and you haven't done anything wrong yet. You have every reason in the world to hate. You have every reason in the world to fall apart. How long he spent in jail, guys? 17 years. 17 years he spent in jail. But check this out. In the jail, he does everything he's supposed to do. Carries himself with the utmost, "Hey, listen, this is who I am." Where he becomes a trustee. And he's exercising his talents, which his talents was of reading dreams. And he exercises his talents and he's reading the dreams of different people in the prison, and he becomes so trusted that he could have escaped if he wanted. He didn't. He chose not to. So one of the guys whose dreams he analyzed got out, and he knows the king. And the king is having some horrible nightmares. And he's like, "I just wish I could figure out these dreams." And the guy says, "Hey, I know a guy I was in jail with." King says, "Go get him." They bring him back. He analyzes the king's dream, and I'm going to give you the shorter version. He analyzes the king's dream, and the king is like, "Wow, how come none of my other people can figure that out? Bruh, I want you on the team." And because he was faithful to himself and he allowed that, he wound up becoming second to the king. Now, I can tell you the whole other story and all that. I'm not going to go all the way into it, but you guys who read the Bible, check it out. Story of Joseph. Let me tell you why I hold on to that. It's because the reason why that motivates me is that if a person who's committed no crime can hold himself together when dealing with super negative situations and still carry himself in a way, then I can push through what I'm dealing with. And I can deal with what happens with me. And there's many other stories like that in the Bible. You pick the one that works for you. But my faith is activated when I'm suffering a personal failure because I can connect it to something in that book that helps me. And then there's surrounding scripture that allows you to be able to have a thought of how to deal with yourself. And I know many of you may have not maybe thought about the Bible that way, and it's okay, because often when you bring up the Bible, people always think about the negatives that they feel with church. I'm not talking church right now. I'm just talking about an intimate relationship with the faith in a way that works for me or works for you if you're listening. I think too often we keep talking about church, and it's not church. I'm not talking about church as the building that we go to. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about an active relationship with what you believe to be something stronger than yourself. Now, let me flip this a little bit to my folks who don't believe in anything. You have to have, now, this is for my non-believers. There are too many stories of men overcoming negative situations that you can pull on to help get you through personal failure. I'll give you one. Congressman John McCain, the Republican. Did you know that he was a prisoner of war? Did you know that he was at the Hanoi Hilton, which is what they called the camp that he was in, the prisoner camp? He was beaten daily, beaten so badly that he could not, he's no longer with us. He couldn't lift his hands over his shoulders. So he need help putting on his shirt. Do you know that he had the opportunity to leave early because his father was a big to-do guy in Washington? There's actually a battleship named the McCain after his father. And when they said, just sign this form and you'll be able to get up out of here, he said, no, because the men that I fought with, the men that I got captured with are still here. So why would I leave them? Because my father can get me out and leave them here to face this by themselves. So I'm going to honor my boys and I'm going to stay here with them and I'm going to take this. And for 5 years, all those men were beaten. But they found strength, their faith. I'm just telling you, their faith and the belief in the American culture. For 5 years, he gets out. He then goes on to be a congressman. So there's a person in the flesh if you don't want to believe the faith. But I find it interesting that one of the things that he says he believed in was faith, was in God. But for you guys who don't believe in that and you want a physical person, there it is. He had a chance to come home, but he stayed because of the connection he had with other people. So no matter what you're going through, there's something out there that you can connect to that can get you through it if you allow yourself to be able to connect to it. That's what I'm getting at. And I want you to understand this. And I don't know who needed to hear this today. I don't know who's listening to this today, who's going through something and they're ready to give up. Please don't. How can I help you? How can I help? I don't come on every day just to come on. I really don't. Sometimes I got to push myself to remind myself somebody needs to see this today, Keith. Get on. Because I went to the park today. Let me just give y'all an update on that. I went to the park today. Shout out to my man, Robert Scratch Perry. Talking to him on the phone today, I walked more than I do every other day, and I'm in pain. But shout out to my dude, Scratch. Because we were talking, and before I looked up, I was like, I done walked a whole lot. My legs was killing me, but I love it. Shout out to Scratch. I went to walk today, and I realized I still got to get on. And you know why? Somebody today is in pain that's going to see this. But here's my question to you, and I don't know who you are yet. How can I help you? And I ask that because I can't help you if I don't know. When I come on every day, guys, yes, this is what I do for a business. I do this. This is my job. But did you know I work for myself? I have no boss. Do you know that I made the decision to help people, mostly women and couples? Do I help the brothers when they need it? Yes, but they got to be serious about it. Some of you guys are knuckleheads. You say you want help and then you want to complain the whole time. I ain't got time for that. And I help sisters because you know what? I've seen sisters damaged by men. You know why? Because I did the damaging. And I'm trying to fix it. And I'm trying to fix it by offering every sister that needs help that asks me, I try to help. And yes, I do it professionally. And yes, there's a fee to what I do. But I make myself accessible because somebody's hurting right now. Somebody needs somebody to talk to, and I want to be that person. So whoever's watching this, I would love to get on a call with you. It's free. It don't cost you nothing. I would love to get on a call to hear what it is that's wrong and how I can help. And let's see what we can put together. Yes, I write books. Yes, I counsel. Yes, I do DISC assessments, which are personality assessments, because I'm going to tell you something. It's big to understand what your personality traits are. I know my own, and once I had an understanding of it, I knew the things that I'm very good at, and I know the things I need to work at. It's another reason. That's how I offer that service as well. I'm now creating teaching opportunities, classes, and courses because I want folks to be able to have somebody that they feel comfortable with and can trust when they sit down in their house and take a course. Or you can come join me in a live course and we can sit down and I can show you what I used to do in the classroom because I was very good at what I did in the classroom. But either way, I'm creating all these things because I know somebody's hurting right now. And even better, I'm partnering with churches and asking them, not asking, let me take that back, getting them to pay for your mental health services. It's called BCAP, Braven Church Assistance Program. And I go in, set up mental health ministries with the church, And when somebody needs help, they call me, and now I have a couple other people that I will be adding to the team. And you, from the privacy of your home, get to sit down and talk about what's wrong with somebody who's of the same faith as you. I'm doing my part and I'm trying hard. But here's the funny thing is I can't help you if I don't know you. I can't help you if I don't know your pain. I can't help you if you keep your mouth closed. Closed mouth doesn't get fed. We all know that. So I don't know who's watching this right now. Whether you're watching it live, and if you are, and again, I'm on a platform where I got multiple platforms, so I can't see all the comments. I will go back and check them out. If you're watching me live or you're watching me replay, if you're watching me replay, put hashtag replay. But either way, let me know that you need somebody to talk to. I'm the wolf who became the shepherd. So I understand how wolves think. I am the whore that became a man of God. I have offered my apologies for my behavior. I have offered my apologies for the sins that I have done to other people. And now I try to help other folks get to that point with themselves. I'm committed to that. That's why I show up every day. That's my why. That's the thing that keeps me up at night. How do I help more people? You want the truth? I'm going to give you pure transparency. I am so upset with the way that I have done things in the past that it keeps me up at night feeling guilty that I may not be able to help enough before I die. That's what troubles me, is that I may not have enough time to offset the damage that I've done. And so that's what pushes me. That's what pushes me to write. That's what pushes me to counsel. That's what pushes me to create. So I can try to do enough, I have enough for people who are hurting as my way of saying, let me give back. That's why I don't work for anybody. I work for myself. I want to be able to stay late and talk to somebody, go somewhere if I want to, or just do what I want. And another reason why I work for myself is I activate my faith in what I do. My faith is baked into the cake of who I am in my business because I really want to see people get better. And I'm going to tell you, let me just say this to you now before I get off of this because I'm coming up on the bottom of the hour. You are going to have setbacks even when you start down the road like I have. I was doing great, and every now and then a little hiccup here and there. That's what the beauty of having a wife that will call you on your BS, people around you who will call you on your BS, and then when they do, you have to accept it, apologize, and keep it moving because you're human. But if you're quiet and you're not saying anything and you're hurting, not only are you hurting you, you're hurting the people out there who need your voice. Yes, your voice. I'm talking to you. And I know you may not believe that, but I believe the God that I believe in created everybody with something that serves the world in some capacity. So no matter what you think about yourself, there is something about you that's special. And there's somebody waiting on that special. And if you can't get it out to the world, you're hurting somebody else besides yourself. So if somebody hurt you, let's talk. Somebody took advantage of you, let's talk. Someone did something worse to you, let's talk. I won't judge you. Ain't nothing you can put on the table I haven't heard. So again, with it coming up on 30 minutes, I want you to have a wonderful Friday. And I want you to do your thing. I want you to enjoy yourself. I want you to have a great weekend. I will probably be on Monday because I really don't get on that often the weekend unless something spurs my thoughts. So I want to say thank you. It has been a pleasure. I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, award-winning author, educator, more importantly, a man of God who wants to help other people. KRS-One. Act like they know, like they don't know. Let's go. Old School Friday. Have a great day, guys. God bless. They act like they don't know.